Alright. Sorry about that. Like I said, it takes low intelligence. People run around, they nobody will believe her. See, the harassment's like 3:30 in the morning. They go all night long. It's like a lot. The law states there's no excuse for torture. Even psychological torture. They keep me up all night long unless I turn the air on. See, they sell the login. If you want the 10 top stupidest criminals in the world, they're right outside my apartment. There's real cases. If you call the Massillon police, um, some of the officers were calling it the state case, carrying around the house. One officer went carrying around the house. You interested in taking care of her? We take care of her around the house, and that's what the state case was called. Someone said that they were going to call the FBI case Karen's Craig after my brother-in-law, and then they changed it to Karen's Will after the agent that was supposed to be taking care of me. I even had a legal agreement with the FBI. Um, no man was ever to touch me that's legally or harmfully. Nothing nothing legally stated dated against you again. Always pull back to the traffic ticket, even when you're telling only for you and only for you will we do this for. You will have you will be accused of no wrongdoing. Only stay quiet while we investigate. Um, you're to have a life of peace. I have not had a life of peace. Not one thing that was promised to me was taken care of. Dave was dating an agent's daughter, Michelle, and it was for Michelle they did all this for, including John's kids lying because the house wasn't meant for Grandma. It was meant for Auntie Shell and Papa, and Grandma needs to get out. Where Dave was dating an agent's daughter, Michelle. They came up with a giggle, 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 and fentanyl or roofing, some kind of weird confession. I don't know. I didn't talk to any of them. When I talked to Dave, he defended me and called Melissa childish. Now, the next building along North Chapel, along the second apartment, they had come out laughing like a month ago. It's funny, she figured it out. I had to take it by the clues people were leaving me that Dave had drugged me before. They came out laughing. She finally figured it out. It was Dave that drugged her and told her to say whatever it is before. Because when he talks to me in person, and I taped it, he defended me and called Melissa childish. Somebody showed up with a badge and they yelled it out. They took him around the corner for both parking lots to hear, yes, they did drug her before and tell her to say it. The little old lady on Fairlawn Street already screamed at him right before May 25th. It's not funny the church people broke in before, drugged her, and told her to say she's a weirdo molester. That's not funny they did that to her. She's screaming for the neighborhood here. May 25th, Louisville, Wendy's. The crew was speaking behind the counter. It's not funny what the church people did. They broke in and drugged her and told her to say she's some kind of weirdo molester before. That's not funny. And Jeff was with me, my old client, and about 6-10 people in town. And they were calling them bastards. Now, my old client told my neighbor Jim and Brian that where my client came over was talking to him that it was too dark for him and he was scared I couldn't work for him. And then I got to work for him for like a week, maybe two, and then they started back in on me. They know if you actually call the Massillon police, Melissa's a documented liar 2 years ago. The FBI showed up at Liberty House Sheriff. The worst thing you ever did wrong, honey, is you bent over him properly. We can wipe that out. They did it in front of tape and audio, in front of the North Canton or Jackson police that were helping work security too. in front of tape and audio in front of people. The worst thing you did wrong is bend over and probably they only made fun of the back of my knees. That's why the guy's like, we can wipe that one out for you, honey. They were taping me unaware in my home. They knew I called FBI. Dave was dating an agent's daughter named Michelle. It's spying. They didn't have a court order. They lie on that one. Um, they knew I called Will. An agent went to Apostolic Church of Barberton. He has black hair, dark eyes, black glasses. He probably 40. He sort of looks like Judge Timothy from Ravenna Courthouse. Let's see. And he had to show a badge because Paymer got in Dave's face. My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. And I walked off. But someone does need to show up. These people, I hope they're only playing with me, that they're extorting money under false pretenses for Melissa's kids. They are a documented liar. Even Flora ratted them out on October 23rd, 2019. Of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made it up. It was a game of pretend. Where the agent said, Melissa's so stupid, she made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. Her first lie is you bent over improperly, you were wearing a nightgown. I didn't know. And 7 years ago, and they said they seen my butt, and they only made fun of the back of my knees once. The second lie, they're being dirty looking through a cracked bathroom door, and I'm supposed to be being weird with myself, and I'm outside drinking water with Jen. Her third lie, they'll make up some and call you a bad word, the mean game or pretend. Of course, it never happened, like Flora said. She's giggling like this. She's 7, my other granddaughter. I would have said something to Dixie about it earlier, but she had, we talk about it one other time, but I didn't want to say anything in front of company. It was BB's first party, and other people heard her say it how they were supposed to pretend it. There's actually a video of it attached to the case. Yeah, I have Dixie admitting the mean game of pretend. About Flora stating it, how Melissa's kids were telling them they were supposed to pretend I assaulted one. That's not funny. They need to thank God every day I'm not their mother. I'd spank them. And then I'd make them admit to everybody in town that they lied. Melissa's confessed she lied to people. People screamed at people, laughed out their windows. Melissa knows nothing bad happened. And I'm like, shut up. This was wiped out 2 years ago. If you actually call the Massillon police or the police in the courthouse of Ravenna, the undercover police, the boys, it's a documented mean game of pretend. They'll tell you it's fucking shit my family should be ashamed of. They sold the law gang clear across the nation. I always said 50 miles around, but when it first started, there was people from Washington, D.C., or not Washington, D.C., but Washington State, California, Texas. There was people from Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, Tennessee, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and New York that came to help that left their lives, and only a few people were bad. Even at Berry Cheese, the Jewish religion had showed up to make up for what the apostolics did. Like I said, there was kindness of strangers I'd never seen. Everybody knows Melissa lied and their evidence is fake. And they're trying to pull a fast one. Oh, Dave drugged her and told her to say it first. I know, it just came out. And then apparently the church people were breaking in. They were taping me unaware. They told the nurse the only thing they got me on was adjusting myself. And the guy there said, it's sick. And she said, no, it's funny. And she's laughing. Then they said, well, you wipe toxic water off with clothes on. You can touch any part of your body with clothes on. You have to hold yourself like 5 minutes to explain yourself. Not, oh my God, water's running. And some lady from right up in Rite Aid was looking at her phone. You didn't expose yourself, you're good. I'm like, please arrest these people. A lot of people are disappearing around me in a lot of the vehicles. I was neurochip 12/21/18. Stabbed in the neck of the refrigerator. Woke up 6 hours later with a dent in my skull. I still have it. Another man's combs on the dresser. Dave shows up and accuses me of having an affair. That's 12/21/18. There's a video of it. The agency underneath the case's name showed up at Liberty Health Share, and I mean not Liberty Health Share, at Altman Hospital Emergency Room, 2:53 p.m. Underneath the case's name, Karen's Well. We're here from Karen's Well, the agency chapter. A bitch looks at me in the face in front of people, audio, patients, and staff. The agency wanted that truth out of you. That's why they chipped you. I'm like, shut up. It's outlawed. It's actually outlawed. In the back, because I have swelling pulling, I told him, I said, I may have a chip. The chip's actually right here. But you can see the cut, the wires, and the crack, and it's pulling down through here. I tell the intern, I said, well, I may have a chip. Waiting outside the room was an agent, some damn bastard neurochipper. He said, we already know. And that was in front of people, audio staff, patients walking by. They didn't care who heard them. Mercy Medical Radiology Department did a CT scan of it. You can see the cut, the wires, and the crack. I went to get CDs to send them in. Some idiot showed up to insult me. And they said, look, we already know some ass chipped her. We all know. They sold the login. I went into Youngstown gas station. The lady looked at me and said, Will knows that chip needs to come out. I would wake up with black and blue marks on me and men coming up to me, and we always knew you're innocent. You tell someone you're arrested. I'm like, who are you? FBI doesn't use sodium pentothal. Why? You lie under it. It's documented. They try to make it look official. It's movie shit. You falsely confess to luring children, falsely confess to writing ransom notes, falsely confess to crimes too, falsely confess to Pearl Harbor, false memories implanted with it, and then on top of it, it's just anesthesia. Some folklore. They outlawed it. It's FDA cannot won't allow it to be brought in the United States because it can be used in anthrax, and they use it in lethal injections for humans and animals. They don't use something lethal to make you lie, and they don't drug anybody because of the fifth. It'd be thrown out. The neural chip is illegal, outlawed. U.S. Supreme Court 101-348-11 Circuit 2005. It is an illegal warfare weapon that was used in Soviet Russia for the whistleblowers, for the so-called truth. And mind-controlling chips they tried it in Guanaco Bay. They ended up putting those 33 CIA agents and handlers and other agents in jail for 20 years RICO charges. At least I think they were CIA. They were handlers and other government agents ended up in jail for 20 years. RICO charges. Neurochips and mind-controlling chips are illegal, outlawed. You have that they are illegal traitors worldwide against all human rights. They even said that they're against all human dignity because they can be sold. And they sold the login to the neurochip and to the case nationwide. These people trying to make money out of false pretenses and drug confessions is outrageous. And if you want the 10 top stupid list of criminals, they're right outside my apartment. I don't know who they are. They like to drive by screaming for that occult, trying to terrorize me, and for the dirty agents that actually participated in this for selfish gain for Michelle. Michelle's mother shows up Memorial Day weekend 2019 food counter at Walmart 62 for it's my daughter. Her husband Daisy met her in Ravenna when she was having a stomach spell. It's from my daughter. They did all this for, and our family watching her down here, and for who's Karen's rich boyfriend, but the state of Ohio who protects her. Marking me from the food counter to the register. She's supposed to be a young blonde girl and agent's daughter. Dixie, my daughter-in-law, even knew about Michelle. I said, the young blonde girl, the agent's daughter? She said, yeah, I know about Michelle. He was also playing a girl named Lauren and a heavy-set girl with a big chest. Mean parents, thinking they could steal everything I have in life. And they bring it to my face. I was out today. Someone showed up and said no man should ever say anything to her again about this. They should have never anyways. They knew they were lying. They came up and told me they were lying. They knew they were lying in like March of 19. For Melissa, so stupid, she made everything up when you're fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. The first lie of picking out the wrong nightgown and saying they seen my butt when they only seen the back of my knees. Second lie is you're being weird with yourself in the bathroom and they're being dirty looking in the bathroom and I'm outside drinking water with Jen. The third lie, they'll make up something and call you a bad name. And as Flora said on October 23rd, 2019, of course it never happened. Of course it wasn't true. We made it up. It was a game of pretend. Laughing. I would have said something to her that night, but they had company. I was talking to Dixie. Dixie admits that they were, Flora stated that they were to pretend it and I didn't know about it. It is a documented mean game of pretend. The Maslin place in the courthouse will always tell everyone, and the state case. The district attorney's office even helped work the case, and they know I'm innocent. The State Department, the Freemasons, the retired vets, the National Guard up there. Now, I was neurotip 12/21/18, stabbed in the neck of the refrigerator. Woke up with hair missing, my hair straight up in another man's comb on the dresser, and Dave's accusing me of having an affair. I do have a dent in my skull. You can see with the CT of it at Mercy Medical done March of this year, the wires, the cut, and the crack. It does kill you over time. They're trying to stall, so I die for him. I think Michelle's probably still involved, and why else are they still at me? They left me alone for 11 months. And when I found out my attorney didn't file the paperwork, they attacked again. Well, usually don't go from facing 6 stalkers to actually 2 shooters and 2 murderers, that they just leave you alone. And I couldn't figure out why. I was trying to get people help in 19, and I already told you about that. And they beat, raped, and tortured me, agent, stalker, and older fat white man between July and September 19. They break in my apartment, beat, rape, and torture a fake confession out that night. They at Shine Salon, they have been telling people women were in there because some ass had raped me, and they were checking to make sure I was all right. Okay. For 8/18 of this year, 4:42 p.m., 2 women are stating under tape and audio in front of people an agent was seen raping her with a stalker. She can have anything she wants. Then at FedEx, 8/27 of this year at 3:05, go 10 minutes before, there's 2 African American agents standing by the register. The agent said he raped her because she didn't call 911 on the gunshot night. Well, they didn't care. Dave killed those people. They didn't put him in jail. They didn't care that the 2 African American agents were bragging at Walmart register that they stayed out of the gunshot night because Dave's girlfriend's prettier, and the guy running it didn't blame him. Or the older white guy with the gray hair and mustache that mocked me too. We had backup that night. They say none of this is funny, that those men are actually dead. And man said he's crippled from it. There's people here stating they're widows from that night, and these people are running around like Looney Tunes saying we're going to get money for that family line that goes to that occult that took up $25,000 to have her murdered and her other son and his family. And they have a list of people. They drugged her and told her to say something stupid she didn't know. Yeah, there was a run around giant eagle around the first year. It's funny she doesn't know. It's funny she doesn't know. No, what? What the hell's funny about any of this? It was, yeah, like the little old lady on Fairlawn Street. It's not funny the church people broke in before, drugged her, and told her she's a weirdo molester. It's not funny. Right before May 25th. Then May 25th, inside Wendy's, the crew was speaking of it in the evening. It's not funny what the church people did, breaking in, drugging her, and telling her to say she's some kind of weirdo molester before. That's not funny. My client heard, and I don't work for him anymore. And about 6, 10 other people in town, they've sold the login to the case and the neurochip. They let people play with the neurochip. They think they're funny. They let people watch me on the bathroom and the toilet and the shower. It's like a reality show, like a purge movie. They get to see real rapes, real torture, real drugging, real framing. They get to watch these agents run around like they're Nazis. What's not funny is there is a man from Craig's past here. My brother-in-law was a private consultant for the FBI. He described himself as a private consultant for the FBI, unrestricted to war weapons. He worked under Dick Cheney. He set up spy satellites, did war weapons. He traveled the world. And what's really not funny is my brother-in-law was killed at work. He had 5 attempts on his life before that. He was supposed to be in that Ireland plane that got blown up. And the last moment he went to either France or Italy to buy lorry something. He was out of the state again in Africa. His interpreter, where him and that interpreter was eating at a restaurant. His interpreter one night said, "Hey, my family's going to make us dinner tonight." They went home. They blew up the restaurant. They shot up an office building another time. He had to hide in a computer panel, and a hotel. They shot up and he had to hide. When he got home at Christmas time, a car came out of nowhere, hit him, pushed him across the Whipple. And by March 26, 1990, he was moving. He came home a few days early from assignment. A gravel truck came around the road only on the third car back. Did that gravel truck turn over? The impact knocked his seat back, broke his neck. There was an air pocket between his face and the vehicle, so his face didn't get crushed. But he was instantly dead, and an officer took a shovel and dug him out. That his death cost the family a great heartache and a loss, and our nation a loss. He was a genius that could do spy satellites and war weapons. His father, Mel, helped design the Patriot missile, and they couldn't get it right, and Craig fixed it. Mel quit, and one of Craig's, I guess, friends quit the agency too. So our nation lost a lot with that wonderful, sweet man dying. Mel was so pissed. He was in headquarters, so you can't say that was an accident. Only on the third car back. And they told him to stay out of it. They'd handle it. My brother-in-law was a brilliant, kind, sweet genius. The kindest man that you'd ever meet. And so somebody's showing up. Now I have a neurochip. It records like a cell phone video chatting between March 15 of 19 and 4/19. I had started Check and Go on Whipple, and it's not there anymore. There's a BMV and a Subway. I go in, and there is man stating, "I won't have her around. I barely tolerated Lori. And I only tolerated Lori for Craig, and I will not have her around. He has insulted my sister like crazy and me. And I'm trying to get my lunch." I was so mad. I went back up to my house in Ravenna. I'm like, if you don't think I know you're there, you're wrong. And have you not been raised better than to insult somebody's family? Well, I got to thinking about it. He hates Lori so bad from 31 years ago. He's here helping these bastards trying to kill me. Instead of saying, oh my God, Craig's little sister-in-law is in trouble. We got to get her the hell out of there. He's here insulting my sister Lori, how much he hated her, and he won't tolerate me around. Me. He doesn't even know me. And you know what? That Lori was the love of Craig's life. So, yeah. And I'll tell you what. Craig referred to me as little sister, not sister-in-law. And he was one of the finest men that ever lived. And what is he doing? And is Lori in danger? Is the Davises? Because if he hates my sister so bad, he would show up 31 years later and help these bastards. Someone needs to find out what his problem is. Now, there's real cases. I'd already been almost shot in the head driving agents at Walmart. 62 afterwards. You got to pull her out. You can't leave her in there for something to happen. You'll get in trouble if you pull her out. And some agent walked up and dropped his head. I'll tell your kids what happened to you if something bad happens to you. I was left in high danger. Why? Because Dave was dating an agent's daughter named Michelle. And they participated, the dirty ones, for that daughter. They stayed out of the gunshot night. Yeah. And then her mother showing up bragging that they did all this for her daughter. Dave was already trying to kill me and Maslin, trying to make it look like random accidents. And I loved him too much to think that he had ever tried to kill me. I thought maybe he cheated, but I never thought he would actually try to kill me. And then realizing that he was part of everything was devastating, heartbreaking. And then when he said he was gonna, I called and left that message for that agent through his secretary that he had a list. They were already taping that Dixie and the baby were next, and they had a list of people. And this is a big case. I mean, there's public corruption, public officials, corruption for personal gain. There is drugs and kidnapping. They'll admit, oh, we drugged her and kidnapped her and told her to say something stupid. Dave did it too. Oh, we corrupted an agent to stick her with a needle so we can use it, right? Nope. No officer, no agent came talk to me. I only told Will I was scared, and I forgot to tell him. Some idiot told Paymer the night before, Apostolic Church of Brewerton. He had to show a badge because he got in Dave's face. He looks like Judge Timothy from Ravenna. He looks about 40 years old. Black hair, dark eyes, and black glasses, about 165, 175 pounds. My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. I forgot to tell that agent that. Dave already knew I called the FBI because they were taping me unaware. And they were drugging me before, trying to set it up if I didn't die, that they could either put me in jail or extort money. You don't get extortion money. And if anybody gives her a damn dime, it is extortion under false pretenses. And I've already been found innocent in the state of Ohio and the FBI over 2 years ago. Over 2 years ago. For her documented me lines and games of pretend. Yeah, and it's not funny that they broke in and told me to say crazy crap. Someone even said they gave her an amnesia drug and told her to say gay sick stuff. Okay, I don't care if you're gay. I am so not gay. And that's terrible they did that to me. They even said one time they drugged me, got me so high they dressed me and put me in a chair. I hope those weirdos didn't do that. But they also raped and tortured me and didn't care. Their face was planted over the internet. Over 20, 30 people have said stuff to me in other town about the rape and torture. Like I said, 8/18 of this year at Shine Salon, they admitted at 4:42 p.m. the agent was seen raping her with her stalker. She can have anything she wants. They also said at FedEx at 8:27 at 3:05 p.m. If you go 10 minutes before, there's 2 African American agents stand outside the register. The agent said that he raped her because She didn't call 911 on the gunshot night. They don't care that the agent stayed out of it. They don't care if Dave killed someone. Or could it just be that they're in with the churches and Michelle? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the agent's daughter playing Bonnie and Clyde. And now they're trying to extort money out of false pretenses. It doesn't work this way. I do need someone to show up here. These people are insane and crazy. Um, they said something today at the mall, and I threw my food out, that, let's see, they interviewed her. Nobody interviewed me. No officer, no agent. Nobody knocked on my door. No Steve, Eric, Kurt, Chris, or Mark. And somebody left a Christine's name up in Ravenna, too, and I don't know who that is. I only told Will I was scared. He offered me the deal, but you don't ask someone to stay quiet while you investigate when your agency's already told the bad guys. And Dave's dating an agent's daughter, and he already knows that I called. Yeah, you don't ask him to stay quiet while you try to kill him. For the wife to kill the wife, so that the agent's daughter can get everything. Instead of put me in the witness protection program and moving me. Hear him? All night long. Psychological torture is even worse. They make fun of me for being raped. They even have children make fun of me for being raped. They have taught children that it's okay to rape women. These morbid son of a bitches. Some children call them bastards. Some teenagers call them asses. Little old ladies. The whole nation knows Melissa lied. She's just a Ponzi scheme to escape prosecution, to premeditated attempt to murder. And if those men, they said none of this is funny. Those men are actually dead. And some man in a wheelchair said that he got crippled that night. Something happened besides it being a cheap stunt, because one of my guys showed up purple, black, and blue and a gash across his face. The agency moved into the male nurse's house for about a month, and the undercover police till I moved out down here. And then they stopped following me on the day of my divorce. They did the cute skit with the judges for, you had us look into it. You knew she couldn't handle it. You knew she appreciated us doing it, and you can find she did nothing wrong. Judge Pete walks by, and Judge Timothy comes in laughing. And then they stopped following me that day. June 19th, the FBI is there in either North Canton or Jackson Police on Hills and Dales Road, Liberty House here. The worst thing you ever did wrong, honey, is you bent over, and probably we can wipe that one out. He's laughing because they only made fun of the back of my knees. Let's see. And then Flora rats him out. The me game of pretend. Of course, it never happened. Of course, it wasn't true. We made it up. It was just a game of pretend. She told it in front of other people, and Dixie laughing, and can't quit smirking. She's 7. They were supposed to pretend I assaulted one. It's a documented me game of pretend. I didn't know about till Flora stated. I had enough to deal with than something that was the agents called fucking shit my family should be ashamed of. Someone else looked into it in January. It's nothing but mean jokes. Let's see. They told Mercy Medical the only thing they have you on is adjusting yourself. The guy said, that's sick. She said, no, it's funny. And then when I went up to get my second COVID virus shot, the lady looked at me and said, you didn't expose yourself. You're good. You can wipe off water anywhere with clothes on. Like they said, these people were extremely reaching, and then they just wiped it out. But I do need someone to show up here. I do need the Mercy Medical. Some idiot showed up to make fun of me, and the lady in the radiology department is like, look, we all know some ass chipped her. It hurt like hell when they did the dye. It hurt really bad. I was talking to one of the ladies, it was either Altman or Mercy. They said if they take that chip out, remove the swelling out of your brain will go back to normal. I do need it out. It does come up government chip, and it is an illegal war weapon that they were using in the Soviet Union. And for the so-called truth on whistleblowers and mind controlling chips. And some idiots tried it in 2005 in Guanaco Bay. And they tried drugging, beat, rape, torture, and all 33 of them went to jail for 20 years RICO charges. It is illegal. It's against all human rights and all human dignity, and it's illegal traders worldwide. And it does come up government chip on police scanners. So the Louisville police said something, and a Canton officer, he walked by on his phone, and the chip went off and read my information. Um, there is a law called Justice for Victims of Torture and Terrorism Act. If the government ever hurts its people, it's to make it right. Um, Now in FedEx around 10/20 of this last year of 20, I went to turn my attorney in the bar for not turning in the paperwork. There's a new guy working the case. No, I haven't seen her yet. I heard she's really something. She's outside in the vehicle saying this, and this, and I'm calling them swear words as they drive by. An older African American agent of, I've seen him several times working the case, for we all know this woman's innocent. They all run around telling everybody I'm innocent. The good ones, Aspen Dental in the back, they won't kill an innocent woman. Um, I was in Walmart after the case started. A little kid was running from his mom around the racks. They see me and they ran back. The agents yelled out for all Walmart to hear buy the veggies. No child should ever be afraid of Karen. She's nothing but good and love. I laid my life down to save my family. I faced basically two shooters. I almost got shot in the head driving going down to John's. And I had a slam, tuck, and swerve. Um, I had a green laser light cross my eyes, and I had a duck and hide from that one on the gunshot night. And I faced 6 stalkers and 2 murders. I almost died. I have agents surrounding me, and people getting grabbed, all for Dave to get everything, and a mentally ill man that lost his kid 18 years ago in a traffic accident I had nothing to do with. His father-in-law ran a stop sign 18 years ago, late for a church baseball game. He lost it at the funeral, screaming. They had to carry him out. They overdid for him because he's a millionaire, buying plaques and trees, and all kinds of stuff. 8 years later, on Blaylock's pulpit, another church, he got up. I hate God for taking the thing I love the most, not demeaning my other children, but I hate him. Blaspheming God. Who can do that with a microphone? A millionaire, and they felt bad for him. They had said that he helped take up the 25,000 with strange Bishop Keith and Ron, because Ron wants me dead because I got well the year his kid died, and that minister lied to everybody I wasn't sick, and I have documents I was sick. And Strange considers my ex son from the pulpit. hmm And so they helped take up the money to hire those men. None of this is funny. And to play with somebody who's mentally ill that is so devastated from a loss like that. Tyler was a sweetie and Phil was a wonderful man. He would actually get them for this. Uh, yeah, Phil wasn't poor at all. And he liked me. It seemed like everybody that would help me is gone. But I know that there's people with integrity that do not want the local agency to go Nazi and think that they can take over and start doing this. They turned on their informant in Boston and let a guy get away with 17 murders. And the guy sued him for $500 million. You can't turn on your informant, and trying to silence an informant is a federal crime also. They knew I was innocent. My FBI file, they came up and said that you've never done anything really wrong before, and it's in your file, and so they run around telling everybody she did stuff wrong before. That's why we help. You're a liar, and it just makes me sick. And it's twisted that they are people with badges, like the lady in the apartment that had moved out. Her family's still there. She came to visit tonight. She already talked with a guy with a badge. Yes, they did drug her before and tell her to say it. And the lady on Fairlawn's already talked to several people. They've already told on them. And there's knowledge of other people knowing of it and having the church people do it and other people do it to me. That's why I was throwing up all the time where I had a black and blue mark. FBI don't drug people because it gets thrown out. They don't use sodium pentothal. Why? Because you lie under it, it's lethal. Some guys said in Ravenna, get rid of that made up fake paperwork. They said the guy didn't like it, like her that wrote it up. And they're trying to say they have made up sodium pentothal reports. They don't use it. I talked to police and prosecutors. And they're like, yeah, we know. Well, you look it up. Well, the agent came up and warned me. People got paid off up here, became two teams, one for you, one for Dave. Remember the truth or try to implant lies or try to steal everything you have in life. Go to Walmart's tapes by January of 19 on 62. You can see where the agents separate. And after the gunshot night, 40, 50 agents freaking out. You got to pull her out. You'll get in trouble. They did all this in front of people. In front of people. Do you know how busy Walmarts are that time of year? They even brag back by the TVs they neurochip me in front of people. Yeah. And they already told Altman Hospital, the agency did it to me on 3/13 to 53 p.m. and in the back in front of people, tape audio and staff that some damn bastard neurochip me. It is an illegal war weapon. There is a law that you have to take it out and you have to pay for it.